Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who were well and who taught His truth. Today's lesson will be entitled, It'll All Be Worth It in the Kingdom. It'll all be worth it in the kingdom, or somewhere along those lines. I was thinking about it earlier, all the trials and tribulations, that we go through, the demons plaguing us, everything that we go through, always being at the bottom, the lowest of the low, picked last, not being wanted, losing, jobs, losing, money, relationships. But in the end, it'll be worth it, man. As long as we continue to seek the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yashai, seek the kingdom, as it says real quick. Matthew 6 and verse 33. And it reads, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So that's what we got to do. We got to seek the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yashai, and understand that in the end, it's all going to be worth it. In the end, we're going to receive, that beautiful prize, that incorruptible crown. Because that word seek, zeteo, G2212, zeteo, to seek in order to find. To seek in order to find out by thinking, meditating, reasoning. To require, to demand, to crave. So you got to crave this. And understanding that with that crave, with that aspiration, with that anticipation, it's all going to be worth it in the end. So I had looked up, the meaning of it'll all be worth it. And there's what, AI overview had, generated forth. And it says, it'll all be worth it means that despite current challenges or difficulties, the eventual outcome or reward will be positive enough to justify the effort or hardship you're going through now. So it says, essentially saying that the sacrifices you make today will be compensated for by a positive result in the future. And that's exactly what it is. It's like, that's exactly what we have to do. We got to make sacrifices. We got to give things up. We got to give up, life. We got to forsake this society. What does it say in 1 John 2 and 15? Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. And that's exactly what, at the time, the disciple Peter had asked Yahushai. We have forsaken all to follow thee. What shall we receive therefore in return? We have, as it says, we have sacrificed everything, man. How are we going to be compensated in the future? Luke 14 and verse 26. We'll start up. We'll start at 25. Because in another version, the disciple Peter at the time had asked Yahushua, this question. Let me see if I can find it where he posed that question to him. Forsaken, because I like the way that it presents it forth in Luke the 14th chapter, but it's also in Matthew 19. Matthew 19 and 27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? How are we going to be compensated? We're sacrificing everything. We've given up everything. That word forsaken, G8863, to let go of, to let be, to disregard, to leave. It says to neglect, to give up, to keep no longer. We've given up everything. We've neglected everything. What shall we receive therefore in return? To abandon. So we've forsaken all to follow thee. I want to go back to that Luke Luke 14 and verse 25. And there went great multitudes with him. And he turned and said unto them, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yet and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Which actually, I think that's different. They're different accounts, I believe. Slakia for that. But this is also, beautiful as well. We'll go back to that Matthew 19 as well. It says, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yet in his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. So you got to forsake all, man, even your own life. You got to sacrifice everything, even your own life. Your father, your mother, your relationship, your wife, your husband, your children, your brethren, everything, man, even your own life. So going back to that. So let's go to that Matthew 19 and 27 again. Matthew 19, verse 27, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? It says, and Yahweh said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. Which it kind of does sound like, Luke 14 and 26 as well. But it said what? That if, it's lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. And then NLT says, verse 29, and everyone who has given up houses or brothers or sisters or fathers or mother or children or property for my sake will receive 100 times as much in return and will inherit eternal life. And that's exactly what it says in the AI overview, essentially saying that the sacrifices you make today will be compensated for by a positive result in the future. And what is that positive result? 100-fold, the kingdom of heaven. And that's exactly what the disciples was asking Yahweh when Acts, the first chapter, will thou now this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Are we going to be compensated now for all our sacrifices, for everything that we've been through? Is now that time? But it wasn't that time. But now we see it and believe it that this is that time, man. So we just got to keep going, keep pushing forward. It'll all be worth it. Means that despite current challenges or difficulties, the eventual outcome or reward will be positive enough to justify the effort or hardship you're going through now. So we're going through hardships, we're going through trials, we're going through tribulations, adversities, disappointments, depression, and going on, losing family members, losing, relationships, losing jobs, losing this, losing that. But in the end, it's all going to be worth it, because as it says, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. We got to keep pushing, giving diligence, make our calling election sure, studying to show thyself approved, being brotherly, giving alms, charity, doing what is required of us, as it says in Romans 12 chapter, Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercy of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is a reasonable service. So the Lord sees, your endurance. The Lord sees what we're going through, and even though we're going through adversities, the Lord sees that you're continuing to push through it, and that, continue to do the work, continue to follow him, praising him, praying to him, so on and so forth. And the Lord said what? Or Apostle Paul said what? In 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, in verse 58, 1 Corinthians 15, which, Lord is speaking through the Apostle Paul, because Yahweh himself taught Apostle Paul. 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 58, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. So, and then NLT, it says, for For you know that nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. So it's not in vain. Understanding that in the end, we're going to get a reward. Because what it say, eye hath not seen, ear heard, heart, man. 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 9. But as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which the Most High prepared for them that love him. So everything that we go through now isn't going to be compared to what we're going to receive in the kingdom of heaven. It's going to far surpass and far outweigh everything that we're going through right now. And everything we're going through right now is really, light affliction, which we're going to get that. But real quick, I believe that it's in Psalm 37 and 4. Yep, birthday of Shai. Psalm 37 verse 4. Delight thyself also in the Lord Yahweh, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. It says, commit thy way unto the Lord Yahweh, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. So he's going to make sure that, everything that you want in righteousness, you're going to get it, as long as you're doing what is required of you, man. This is what we got to do. Follow after the Lord Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth, which is our reasonable service, the whole duty of man. So let's get this in 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 17. It says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. And then NLT says, for our present troubles are small and won't last very long, yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So what we're going through right now is minute. What we're going through right now is only going to last a season. It's not going to last forever. But what the Lord is about to bestow upon us is going to last forever. So why not fight through it in order so that we can receive that which is going to last forever? Because this is only light. This is light affliction, man. Light. G1645, light and weight, agile, quick. It's quick, man. Really, it's easy. Because we're going to look back on it. And in the kingdom say, man, that wasn't nothing compared to what, the Lord gave us. G2347 for that word affliction, a pressing together pressure. So, it's light, but it's still pressure, man. Metaphor, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits, because really we should be going through a lot more. So it'll all be worth it in the kingdom, man. It'll all be worth it. Everything that we go through now, demons plaguing you, everything, it's going to be worth it. And that's what it says. I have not seen or heard. Because what did it say? Verse 18, and we'll get in NLT. So we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. And like I said, it'll all be worth it in the kingdom, because once we get into the kingdom, that's going to last forever. It's not just going to last for a period of time. The kingdom of heaven, headed by Yahweh Shai, is going to last forever, and it's not going to fall, as it says in Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Daniel 2 and verse 44 now. Daniel 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. It shall stand forever, which means that, perfection is going to last forever. Israelites and rulership is going to last forever. No more crying, no more sorrow, no more depression, no more distress, no more straits, no more tribulation. All that is going to be out the window, and it's going to be nothing but perfect happiness, everlasting joy, everlasting life, everlasting peace for all eternity. That's what it says in Revelation 21 and 4. It says, and the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. All that's going to be passed away. It's going to be out the window. It's going to be like it never happened. Our enemies and rulership, our enemies, over top of us, beating us down to a pulp, being saturated and surrounded by darkness, all that's going to be passed away and never thought about ever again. It's going to be like it never happened. And it's going to last forever. So once we get into the kingdom, speaking to myself first and foremost, it's going to last forever. Or it's going to be worth it. Everything that we go through now is going to be worth it. Despite current challenges or difficulties, the eventual outcome, it may seem like it's taking a while, but really it's right there, because what is eternity to 3 years? That's nothing. That's not even a bacteria. That's smaller than bacteria compared to what we're about to receive, man. It says the eventual outcome or reward be positive enough to justify the effort or hardship you're going through now. Let's see this. It says positive outlook. It emphasizes a hopeful perspective. It says suggesting that even if things seem tough now, there's a valuable payoff coming. There is a valuable payoff coming, man. The kingdom of heaven, everlasting life, your heart's desires, what the Lord has prepared for them that love him. It says persistence, motivation. It can be used to encourage someone to keep working towards a goal even when facing obstacles. What does it say in Ecclesiastes 2 now? Real quick. Ecclesiastes 2 and verse 1, my son, thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. So you got to be prepared for temptation and keep pushing forward. Keep moving, man. Context matters. The specific it in the phrase depends on the situation, but it generally refers to a project, endeavor, or challenging situation. And what is a challenge? The hell, man. Trials, tribulations, adversities. And ultimately, it's going to be, that C-hip when it's made mandatory. And right here it says training for the and this brings up a precept to my mind. Training for the marathon is tough, but it'll all be worth it when I cross the finish line. Wow. Come on, man. We're training right now. We're going through these things, training so that we can cross that finish line, man, and win the race. Training for the marathon is tough, but it'll all be worth it when I cross the finish line. Now let's get that in what is it? Slipping my mind. But we can just type it in 1 Corinthians 9. 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain. And in the NLT, so run to win. It'll all be worth it in the kingdom. So we got to keep pushing. We got to keep fighting, man. Speaking to myself first and foremost. Verse 25, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. We're doing this so that we can receive that incorruptible crown, something that's going to last forever. As it says in the NLT, we do it for an eternal prize. That's why we continue to push forward. That's why we continue to fight through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Of course, it says, now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore shall run not as uncertainly, so fight I not as one that beateth air. And then it says, so I run with, verse 26, so I run with purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing. In the end, it'll be worth it, man. Everything that we go through. We'll probably end off right here in Romans 8 and verse 18. We'll get in the NLT. Romans 8 and we'll get verse 17 NLT. It says, and since we are his children, we are his heirs. In fact, together with Hamashiach, we are heirs of the Most High's glory. So, we're joint heirs with Hamashiach, in the kingdom of heaven. Of course, Yahweh is going to have his place at the top, but, we're going to be joint heirs. It says, but, continuing on to verse 17, it'll all be worth it, but we first got to what? we first got to go through those hardships and those difficulties, and understanding the eventual outcome or reward will be positive enough to justify the effort or hardship you're going through now. So right here, this, what I have highlighted, the first part of verse 17, and since we're his children, heirs, so being joint heirs, that is the reward, the eventual outcome or reward that is going to justify our hardships. And the hardships and the current challenges and difficulties we go through is right here where it says in the latter part of verse 17, which says, but if we are to share his glory, we must also share his suffering. So we got to go through the sufferings, the trials and tribulations. And then once we go through these things, and as it says in Matthew 24:13, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Then we'll receive that glory, that fame, that fortune, as it says in Matthew 6:33. Again, all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom of heaven, man, 100-fold. Verse 18 in the NLT. Yet what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory he will reveal to us later. Nothing, man. Nothing. The sufferings that we go through now. Let's get that word suffering. So let's see what it says. G 3804. That which one suffers or has suffered. Misfortune, calamity. We go through misfortune all the time. Disappointments all the time. Afflictions all the time. Also, AI, it says of the sufferings of a Mashiach, also the affliction which Christians must undergo in behalf of the same cause which a Mashiach patiently endured. What does it say in John 15:20? If they have persecuted you, or it says that the servant is not greater than his master. If they have persecuted me, they shall persecute you also. So we got to go through this in order to receive it, man. That's all there is to it. It'll all be worth it in the kingdom. And the Lord's going to make it known that we are his. And he's going to make sure that we are greatly compensated. Because as it says, his mercy endureth forever. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. And before I end it off, I to give all praise, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakwadash, and double honors as always to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Until next time, Shalom.